Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I think I got it now. Some button. All right, I got to start it all over again. It's one of those nights. You got me now there, Lucas? Nobody hear me? Anybody hear me? It's one of those nights. One of those nights. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's hearing me. I think so. Let me say. Yeah, I think I'm on here. Somebody tell me. Okay. All right, good. Yeah, it's one of those. Figures I'm coming out hot and I screw up the audio. All right. No, it was on my end. A stupid microphone thing. You read, I didn't notice it. Anyway, guys, I guess after no one heard what the heck I'm saying, my buddy Nino was getting chemo this week. I'm watching him with us, so I'm a little ornery. And I'm going to do something a little different. I've kind of come to realize if I'm going to do this thing, I've got to alter some of my normal personality. I don't like to do the Twitter thing. I really like to cover all sides and really just take an information-based approach, believing that everyone out there is kind of on the same team. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. But there is a gamage to this gig. So I just want to let you guys know, Don, what's going on? What's going on? Thanks for bearing with me. I think I was talking for like a minute or so at that. No, and I was off. Thanks, Lucas. So I'm going to start this whole Twitter thing up. I hate it. I'm going to have to start doing the, pimping myself out and say, please like and subscribe. But there's no way around it. And the Twitter thing kind of has been something that's working its way into my life. It's just, you kind of get squeezed out in this biz unless you're kind of dealing with that. But something else came up that kind of annoyed me. Now, TD Finn's talk, I like him a ton. I've always supported him, always liked him. But I saw in like my little Twitter thing, I don't really put things up there, but I look at it for the information. And I saw a tweet that kind of bothered me. And it kind of hit to my side of stuff. And so I'm going to have to start doing the Twitter thing, get a larger voice, because I find that people with these big voices, they say stuff and then you kind of get squeezed out. And I saw this tweet. Everyone blaming the O-line for the loss, but Tua had his highest time to throw all season. 274, stop with lazy narratives. Thanks, Don. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, it's terrible watching the guy you love, man, just wither up. So I probably would have been upset, but I saw lazy narratives. Now, people have never talked about time to throw until I kind of started bringing it up. People didn't talk about blocking efficiency till I kind of brought it up. I kind of know that TD listens to me on occasion. I know that, time to throw is my thing. And so in essence, whether it was direct or indirect, that basically was saying that my narrative is lazy. So I'm going to show you clearly what lazy is. Okay. His take is he can't. I'll read the rest of it because I don't want to be off base. What really happened is the Titans forced Tua to hold on to the ball longer than he's used to by taking away the first read the majority of the night. He started pitter-pattering his feet and holding on to the ball too long to allow the defenses enough time to pressure him. This is all on McDaniel not running the ball in key moments and Tua patting the ball instead of throwing it away. It's easy to blame the line when they're all backups, but you're wrong. Well, I'm going to show you how to do this professionally. TD, obviously, I think he's a funny guy. I think he's a talented guy. I like him, but he don't know what the hell he's talking about right here. And I'm going to definitively show that. Time to throw, the base time to throw is all passes together. It has no value aside from just saying this is what the day is like. Yeah. So I'm going to have to start doing I'm going to start doing the X thing. I'm going to start doing the whole thing because you know what? We're going to enter a time possibly where it's going to be another big narrative drive. And I got to do it. So time to throw is all passes. It's like saying, oh, Dolphins had 400 yards today. Oh, Tua, he must have had a great day and Hill had a great day. But then if you look in the stats, Tua came out by the third quarter because the Dolphins were winning so well. They brought the backup in. He had two big plays and threw for 150 yards. So Tua only threw for 250. And Hill, he only caught two passes, and Waddle had a huge day of 180 yards. You cannot gain any real insight on time to throw base, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay. I'm going to break it down and show you all this because he goes to premium stats. He grabs the base number. He throws it out there and he's misleading people. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or not, but I ain't lazy, but I will show you that. So let's take a look at next gen stats. These are the fastest time to throws for the week. Goff 2.5, Minshew 2.51, Lawrence 2.52, Tua 2.6, Carr 2.62. If you look at the last breakdown on the side, you'll see plus minus. That's above throwing percentage completion. Tua exceeded what was expected of him by 1.6%. Now, you look at Derek Carr and you see 8.3, and you can say, wow, Tua sucks. Now, this is not to assuage the people out there who are the Tua lovers. It's not to run defense for Tua. It is to defend my point, but it's about truth. Now, so you see those stats. So you look at Jared Goff, big record, pretty good season, minus 6.4. Minshew backup, -1. Trevor Lawrence, minus 2.9. But let's dig into the actual time to throw and the protection, okay? It is going to be abundantly clear. I spent a little bit of time on this. Let's take a look at this little image that I created. So the little picture next, little set of graphics next to his name, you see the time to throw is 2.74, but let's get into the breakdown. He was kept clean 53.7% of the time and got the ball at 2.2 seconds. Under pressure, 46% of the time and 3.3. Hey, Joe, what's going on? I'm on fire. I'm not going to be, I'll get back to these comments in a second. So you could say, well, he was under pressure and he held the ball too long. Well, you can see Carr under pressure, 3.09. He was under pressure 33% of the time. Now, let's look at Carr being blitzed 48.1% of the time. Almost 50% of the time he was blitzed. Tua was blitzed 7.3. When he was blitzed, his time to throw was 1.53 seconds. Now, when Carr was blitzed, 48% of the time, it was 2.22 seconds. Under pressure, creates movement of the quarterback. And hey, Shekel, what's going on, brother? Yeah, shalom, man. When you're under pressure, most of the time you move and it drags out the time to throw. But let's dig into the protection. Now, Carr has an okay line. He's got 3 good linemen and 2 bad linemen. But he was pressured 48% of the time compared to 7 by Tua. Now, look at his total season pressure. When blitzed, it's 2.10 seconds. When he's clean, it's 2.12 seconds. Take a notice of that. It literally, the blitz gets there quicker than his clean time to throw. And you might say, well, I don't know about that. Let's check Carr, who was the 5th highest thrower, blitzed 48% of the time, what they did to protect him and how they set their offense up compared to Tua, who was the 4th, and he was blitzed 7% of the time. My stat that I created, blockers per pass. We used 5.87 blockers per pass, almost 6 guys to their RPP, rushes per pass, which was 4. So he had 6 guys blocking 4, and yet he was pressured 46.3% of the time. Now, what did Carr do in New Orleans Saints? Their blockers were per pass was 5.07. They literally ran 5 blockers all day, and he was blitzed. I think it was 13 times, and they rushed 4.7. It was nearly mono compared to almost 50% more blockers added to their rushers, but you still generated that kind of pressure. Now, to his understanding, yeah, Jackson's a starter. Your primary left tackle is Lamb, so you should be all right there. Eichenberg was the primary center backup, but Cotton was the primary left guard backup. The only guy that's a real true green guy, the red flag, would be Jones, because you're supposed to be expected to man the ship with your backups. And we brought tons of extra protection and still got that pass rush. Now, let's look on the season. Tua's 2.10 blitz time. What about some other quarterbacks? San Fran, non-mobile quarterback with Purdy. His blitz time to throw is 2.60. I don't have their season-long blockers per pass, but I can get that. But that's substantially, that's half a second more. Let's take a look at Dallas. Dallas is blitzed about 29% of the time. Now, Purdy's blitzed 42% of the time, which is a ton more than Tua, who's blitzed 26% of the time. Dak is blitzed 29% of the time, and it's 2.47. That's 0.37 seconds more on blitz time. Clean time to throw is 2.38. And if you look at under pressure, Dak's is 3.32, which this week it was 3.33. So you can't, you see a normal patterning there of when you're under pressure. The clock usually goes over 3 seconds. Purdy, he's 3.17. But clearly, we used tons of extra blockers. We weren't blitzed. They played 2 high coverage nickel all day, and they were able to let us run. And then on that second to last drive, they brought the 4-3 in there and shut it down. Tua has been under pressure all season like nobody else. Like, there's no one else with the blitz rate. You can go check. Hey, let's check another team. A garbage team, the Jets. What's their blitz time? Now, I don't want to use Wilson because he's mobile, but let's use Boyle. Boyle's not mobile. Now, they got a bad offensive line. Their blitz time to throw is 2.28. So it's 0.18 seconds more than the Dolphins, and everybody makes fun of the Jets' offensive line. Let's look at a different offensive line that stinks. The Giants. Giants are not that good. DeVito is sort of mobile. His time to throw and blitz, well, he's pretty mobile. So I won't use that one because that could be, let's see. Let's check somebody else who's bad. Let me see. Who's slow? Who's slow and's got a bad offensive line? Patriots. Patriots got a bad offensive line. Their time to throw and blitz is 2.19, 0.9 seconds more. So you can go through the entire NFL, and the quickest blitz time, I would bet dollar to donuts, is Tua. So if I say 2.374, it looks like he had all day. But he was under pressure 46% of the time, which means his time to throw numbers are going up like everybody else in the league. And Miami brings everybody to block. So this is what happens when people don't know how to use stuff. And I normally wouldn't get like this, but it was said that if you are saying the offensive line was the problem, it's lazy. Now, throwing a raw time to throw number up is like 101 lazy. And it's not to get on TD too much, but I've got to start firing some bullets, and that had to start now, and it's going to go forward on this Twitter thing. So anyway, hey, John, hey, Curtis, happy Friday. Have you seen the PFF scattergram for QB efficiency? It shows Tua, Allen, Mahomes clustered with Dak, Purdy, Miles above the top quad. No, I didn't see it. I'll check it out. Every week, he's doing pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, it's clear. And if you check the protection and understand how many blockers we use, if you go and check the season, we almost never ran screens. And now all of a sudden, we're running 14% screens. Why? We're running ton. Tua is the number one play action quarterback in the league by like 20-something passes. Why? You know, guys, anybody can throw stats out there, but it's called analytics and context that creates the rationale, the whole picture. I'm not saying Tua is elite, but this protection is god awful. And this is the problem that I've been saying. When all the fans that love the Dolphins overvalue the protection, they're setting McDaniel and Tua up for the fall. Guys, don't forget to switch over to the comments side on the video and like, subscribe. Yeah, do that, please. Please. Did I miss anybody? Anybody out there? So anyway, guys, I had to get that out there because, I'm known for the time to throw, and I got to defend myself. So does it make sense? Does it make sense what I'm saying? I try to put some time into it. So anyway, I'm going to start doing the Twitter thing. Screens and sweeps need to stop. Teams know the containers. Yeah, well, that's all we can do. We can't run inside. We don't have the talent to run inside. When we have Connor and Hunt together, they're a pairing that can create those inside lanes. And they can create the cutback lanes when they double chip and go. But without Connor and without Hunt, Eichenberg moves no one. Jones can inside zone. And sometimes he's good at a slam block or a move block where he gets down the line. He's good, but not really in zone stretch. And Cotton, occasionally moves somebody, but not enough. Jackson's not a mover. He's okay shielding on like an outside zone stretch. Tehran's not really a drive move, especially with all the injuries. He's a guy who's good on the zone stretch. He slides, drives, and shields. But we don't have any drive blockers. And we run the screens because we're trying to keep the pressure off from coming inside because we know how quickly it gets there. Yeah, Tommy, I love you, man. I really do. You are. Too bad you're a Bills fan, though. Too bad. See you tomorrow, man. Oh, yeah, I forgot to say, tomorrow I'll be over at Jedi Sports Network doing the AFC East shakedown. Getting ready for this. I'm getting nervous, Tommy. I think we're going to see you week 18. It's going to be big. We need to run the ball. Hey, Pride, what's going on, brother? We need to run the ball and just have one of the worst run defenses in the league. We need to stop being so pass happy. Yeah, but you know what it is? You got to understand when like a lot of our run stats, where are they coming from? A lot of it comes from Tua and Hill driving off the secondary and creating those gaps on the edges. And you don't need great blocking when you got super fast guys. Those gaps are sitting on the edge. And when you got poor corners that can't contain, that's how we're getting a lot of our runs. We had a couple inside. We had a nice one versus Patriots with Connor and Hunt. But the majority of our run game is to the edges, and it's set up because of Hill and Waddle. And a lot of times it happens when there's bad corners. But when you got good corners and a good defense that guards the edge, we kind of have problems. And so we're in a little bit of a quandary here. And hey, John, Hunt is out this week. Armstead should play. Yeah, Jets are 28th versus the run. But when you check their runs, it's a lot of the inside stuff, inside zone power, because they got a poor second DT. Williams is great, but they got good pass rushing DTs, but they got bad run stopping DTs. And so the way you get that is the inside zone runs. You hammer the inside. They got two good linebackers. The edge guys are decent. The corners are decent at the stopping the run. And so you hit them inside, and then you get them in a situation where maybe they're caught off guard or something like that, but they're not just poor. And it's going to take us getting inside zone runs to break it open. And that's my biggest concern, because we got a guy who hasn't played for years now, because it looks like Eichenberg's not playing. He snapped one day with Tua, and he's coming in, and you got Cotton and him. I don't know. I'm very, very concerned this week. I'm going to get into it in a second. I asked some of you guys, hey, just the Toas. Claypool is a big target for the Fades, but is he playing this week? Why isn't he playing? Hey, Austin Powers, man. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I missed a little tirade. So, this game is going to be extremely concerning, especially if you look at the wind. People aren't talking about the weather. We're talking 9 to 13 mile an hour winds with up to 24 mile an hour gusts. And this is going to help their man coverage. I hope it rains, because it's going to slow down their man coverage. They won't have the cutting ability. But we don't know if Hill's going to be in. We don't know if Holland's going to be in. Elliott's out. Hunt's out. This is if Hill's not in and it's not raining and it's just windy, this is a sticky game, man. This is a chance for us to be heroes. We have to win this game. We lose this game and it's disaster. Claypool hasn't been used, and he's basically for packages. Yeah, he was doing blocking early, and then he got injured. And so he's been kind of like out. He did okay early with some blocks and a little bit catches, but if he's breaking out, he's got to break out soon. So if you look, Wilson, hey, Fernando, what's going on, brother? Wilson looked like he had a lot of confidence. I've watched that game a couple of times now. He's got the movement skills to buy some time. He's got a strong arm to go against the wind. He works well in the rain and the wind. This team can use all the help it can get. I am a little concerned. I pray that we don't even know is Howard going to be in. Howard might be out. Holland might be out. This is going to be very, very, we need to step up. Hey, Bruce, what's going on? Hey, Curtis, if we lose to the Jets, do you think we go 9-8 again? Yeah, probably. And after going from 8-3 to 9-8 last year is McDaniel. Yeah, but he shouldn't be. You see, this is the whole thing, man. I supported Flores, and and then McDaniel was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if he loses this year and he gets put on a hot seat, the media is going to do a Flores, but a different flavor to McDaniel. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. When you just consider the framework. I mean, every coach we bring in here, it's kind of like the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that we could win this week and go where we need to go. But if we don't, you got to look a little higher. I mean, when we were winning, Greer was a genius. Now that we're on the edge, it's Tua, it's McDaniel, maybe Fangio. Greer's not even in the picture. And it's the same substandard, inconsistent offensive line. The offensive line makes the NFL world go around. And we just got to understand that. You can't have this kind of offensive line and expect success with the style that you built. We built a particular style. So he probably will be on a hot seat. Are you kidding me? If we go 9-8, or even 10-7, and it's a wild card exit, it's not going to be pretty. And honestly, if we lose this week, we can't. I'm not like Tua and McDaniel. I'm in love with them. I like them. I like Flores. But to me, this is just another repeating of the process. You cannot have this offensive line. And if we lose to the Jets, I don't know if Hunt's going to be back next week. If Hunt's not back next week, Dallas will go through us like poop through a goose. It'll be terrible. Appreciate your time and work off the bat. Be good, brother. Be good. I appreciate stopping by. Yeah, let's see how things play out. That's it. I mean, honestly, I don't like Chris Greer. I don't like him, but I don't care. I want him to win. I hope he's a genius. And I got to say, Chris Greer, you're a genius. I'm tired of the negativity. I'm tired of the dysfunctionality. And we've got to win this Jets game. We lose this Jets game, it's going to be creepy, man. It's going to be so creepy. And I feel so bad for Dolphin fans. I really do. I'm like one, but I'm like outside of it now that I cover it. It's like I'm kind of insular because most of the time I'm in evaluation mode. It's just terrible. If we go 9-8 again, we have big problems. One critique I have is a team takes on a personality tough as a coach. Thank God we got Anthony. Yeah, I mean, it's true in a sense. But, okay, ask yourself. You go get a green head coach like you did with Flores, who's a run game coordinator, and then you don't give him an offensive line. When an offensive line is there, it makes everybody's job easy. It doesn't have to be top 5 or top 10, but it's got to be at least around 15th and with some sort of functionality if you want to go someplace. Now, the Bengals were able to do it a little bit, but look what happened to Burrow. And it was spitting bail wire, and they had an unbelievable defense, and Burrow paid the price. He's starting to break down, in my opinion. But it's very rare. There's never been an NFL team that's won a Super Bowl without at least a top 10, top 12 offensive line. Hey, Cap for Life, what's going on? 2-6-1 with Flores in December, 1-5 with McDaniel. I mean, I'm not going to like ride that stat hot and heavy, but you shrug your shoulders. But I like McDaniel. I just think that you got a guy who Flores wasn't calling. McDaniel came in, he was in the booth, he came to be a head coach, and he was calling, and then he had expectations to win right away. Flores had a first year of just, hey, screw it, man. We can go, 55 and 0 and 55. Who cares? I just want to be fair to every single person. That's what I want to do. I want fair. I just got on watching from the beginning, TD Fins and Troll. Yeah, I mean, I like him, but I know he pays attention to me, and I know other people do. And so when he's talking time to throw and the offensive line being lazy, like I said, that's either indiscriminate shot my way or he fired my way. And so I had to do my thing. To a rollout play action, if he knows he's going to get 2.3 seconds. Yeah, but there's a lot to it. Like, if you notice, when he first came here, we did a lot of rollouts, and then they started doing the sting blitzes, and they were able to get that umbrella coverage with the sting blitz. Now, Tua's gotten better. There's a couple times where he's got the free blitzer, and he's been able to roll out and make things happen, but it puts him on the edge where there's problems. And you've got to be able to just to line up and run inside zone and hit them in the nose. And at the beginning of the year, people made fun of me or whatever, but I said my keys for the season was offensive line depth, the ability to run inside and to be able to block and win inside in bad weather. And so this Jets game is going to lay it all out. And I hope we win. I hope Greer's a genius. I really do. But Tua is now, I'm not saying Tua is the greatest. I've always kind of held the middle of the road. But you can't expect blitz percentage, 2.10 seconds. Clean throw percentage is 2.12 or something. The time to throw in blitz and in clean is the same. Now, sometimes we let free blitzes in, but it's not as much as it used to be. That was, something people used to say, but it's not like that now. We're getting that ball out. It's not the same thing. Those blitzes are coming in hot because we can't handle it. So the Greer genius stuff is simply the fans overhyping a little early season. Greer is not him. Yeah, but that's the thing. This is why I say in stock market, in the housing market, in cryptos and whatever, if you create a distortion, a bubble, or in this case, an evaluation bubble, there's going to be distortion somewhere and a price to be paid. And all the people who lifted this offensive line now have the people who really don't know the game and the mass media putting the target on McDaniel and Tua, and it's not going to come back. Well, look what even the run game, people don't even understand how it comes about. It's just a very complicated game. Hey, Yuki, they have to coddle Tua to keep his spirits up. He doesn't have that dog in him. Well, I don't know if he does or he doesn't. There is a little bit of that, but there's also, you have to also understand that when he came in here, the dysfunction was so high. The owner was trying to get rid of him. The media was trying to destroy him. He came in hurt, and they forced him in early. And then he had the 45th best offensive line in football. Greer shipped off Van Noy to get it at Flores. And then he got rid of Flowers for some unknown reason, who was our best blocker the year before, and let Karras walk, who was a top 10 at his position. And Tua had the 45th best offensive line in football. Everyone has a moment or a period of lack of confidence. I'm not saying he's the toughest guy in the universe, but his framework has been one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. I was personally on the side of drafting a lineman instead of a quarterback and stick with Fitzpatrick and then draft Lawrence the following season. We had to tank again. My personal opinion is Gailey would have been good and Fitz would have been good for Tua, and let Tua sit for 2 or 3 years and heal and get the confidence and understand the nuances of the game. Now, was it Flores? Was it Greer? Was it Ross? Was it all three of them that broke that whole thing up? Because some weird stuff happened in 220. I don't know. I think Tua can play. I mean, Drew Brees even said it. And I've said from the beginning in 2020, he's a more mobile Drew Brees. And Drew Brees was sucky for the first 3 or 4 years. He was terrible. And then he got to a guy that knew how to use it and set the situation up. And all of a sudden he became the guy we know. I think the kid can play. I don't know if he can win us a Super Bowl, but that's my take here. Let me see. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I was getting into it. Here, Cat for Life. I understand you offensive line worries, but Tua had the worst offensive line at one point. It's time to make a statement. He still has one of the worst offensive lines. And that's the thing I don't think people get. So if you have like the premium stats, go to time to throw with blitz. Now, there's always some abnormalities through that. But generally speaking, what that means is the ability of the offensive line to pick up the blitz, which is critical. It's critical. And ours is 2.10 seconds. And you go through the rest of the league and you look at the guys that are in the top of the league, the teams that are really vying for something big, and it's substantially different. And this offensive line, so this is another thing people don't talk about. Offensive line is the most chemistry-driven unit in the game of football. I mean, there's nothing like it. You take the practices away, you take the hitting away, and you see why these refs are letting all these holding calls go. Now, you take a less talented offensive line, and then you're swapping them out in week after week. The play here on the offensive line is terrible. Speed of throw has uplifted this protection. I've been saying that from the beginning. So, hey, Scott, man. Thank you, brother. Good luck Sunday, Curtis. You too, man. You too. You know what? Honestly, Scott, I do mean it, but dude, if you win this week, even if we win, I am going to be very nervous, man. Very nervous, brother. Let's see. Let me see. I think yeah, Sean. Hey, what's going on, Sean? In my opinion, what I think made Brees so good is how well he went through his reads and hit open men. Absolutely. But Peyton, look what Peyton did with Wilson. Wilson was a disaster. And then he came in and he just made this guy freaking hand the football off for the first like 6-7 weeks. And he got his ass straight. And now look at Wilson. They're almost ready for the playoffs. And he's like, oh, you need you cannot run outside zone and do this quick throw system and not be able to run inside, not to be able to protect with 5-man protection. Brees always had good protection and a consistent run game, and he was inside zone and outside zone. That balance When you're a defense and you're forced to pay attention to the middle, to the edges, to the passing middle, to the passing edges, and the passing deep, it opens things up. And Breeze had unbelievable systems set up for him. But there was always Tehran he was injured, but he was not injured as much as here, and he was one of the best in the league. There was always good, and when it wasn't good protection, then Breeze got his ass beat, and he didn't do so well. So I understand, but I think there's a little nuance to that. Let me say, 2020, we were ranked almost dead last on the O-line. We finished 10-6. Yes, but the system we had, what Gailey did, I think, ran the football 14th or 15th most. And we had insane turnovers from our defense. And we had a very short game. Now, when Fitz was in, it was a totally different style. He actually was throwing faster and deeper than Tua is now. But then when Tua took over, it changed. And Gailey called up a lot of games, and a lot of them were very, very close. And we really didn't beat too many good teams. So, you could say that, but it wasn't dead last. It wasn't. We had Eric Flowers. We had Karras. We had Jackson on the edge. But Gailey, to me, was a more experienced caller than McDaniel. McDaniel is still green. I think the guy's got talent, but Gailey's brilliant, man. He was a master. Let me say, hey, Lucas, with Hill out, Waddle gets doubled. Yeah, that's not going to be pretty. It's going to be very, very tough. All right, so I'm sorry if I missed some of you guys' comments. I always got great comments. I want to show you what it looks like here. All right, so this is our offense versus their defense. The only real weakness in the pass game is Adams in the free safety department. But if Hill's not playing, and Berrios, he's okay, but are we going to be able to protect enough to have 3 wide receivers? See, the problem is we're falling back into that we're not sending enough guys into routes because we got to keep so many guys in protection. So, you got Berrios, Craycraft, Cedric Wilson Jr., Braxton Berrios, which means Waddle will get what the heck's the guy's name? Sauce, and then Reed will be on the other guy. And Hill's got to be in for us to have a chance. I'm very concerned if he's not in there. But now we got Jonathan Harrison, who hasn't played in years, and he's just snapping one day with Tua. And then Lamb won't be in, but you're probably going to get Tehran. And then what about our blocking unit? If you notice at the beginning of the season, I was talking about we needed tight ends. Smythe isn't doing well. Julian Hill's terrible in pass protection. Tyler Kraft doesn't see anything. Our protection unit is very, very, very sketchy. And if it's windy out and Hill's not in, as Lucas said, they're going to put the focus on Waddle, and then you're going to see crazy pressure. And it's going to come down to us having to be patient, letting our defense try to make plays, let our special teams make plays. We're going to have to play the patience game. We can't make mistakes. If Hill's in, I feel a little bit better, but this offensive line, different quarterbacks are affected by different pressure. Some quarterbacks, they're affected by the edge pressure. Every quarterback is highly affected by the inside pressure, but a guy like Tua who doesn't have the speed to get to the edge, that inside pressure is even more devastating. And when you got Jonathan Harrison, Robert Jones, and Cotton going against this front, it's scary. If you go back and watch how they handle the stunts, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. And you're just going to get straight out beat by Williams on some of these guys. I mean, Jonathan Hankins, Jones is okay, but I'm very, very concerned. Cedric Wilson made some plays for us, but he's going to be man covered by either Reed or Sauce. And you're going to be expected when you got good man coverage, it moves that time to throw up. If you even look at the Chargers, our time to throw is like even clean. It was pretty high. It was like 2.4 something. Look what the Chiefs did. So we can get those big plays on man coverage. Oh, look what the Bills did to us, you know? So if they play man coverage, it's going to push that time up and force the blockers to do better. And then if we can't get those deep plays, it could be a long day, Lucas. So we're going to have to run inside. This is their nickel look, and they got a good pass rushers, but if we run enough inside and rotate out those DTs, we might be able to make hay and get some play action over there. But it is going to be critical to have Hill here. But he's got a swollen ankle on a short week. And then if you play him this week, is he going to be able to make the next week? This is going to be a big, big, big problem. Berrios could be a factor this week if Hill is limited. Quick release, slants, and play action. Berrios, he's not going to beat you on a slant so much against like a Reed and a Sauce because he's going to be playing man up. He's the kind of guy when you get the 3 wide receivers and you do like a crosser or a post or something like that. If you can get the 3 wide receivers with Hill, Berrios, and Waddle, I'll feel a lot more comfortable. But we don't throw any slants either. We're very soft on our slants. There's one thing you can put a knock on McDaniel is the small game. There's not many route combinations and timing throws inside just to pick up that small ball stuff. They say Raheem is really hurt. You keep shooting with these guys with T and risk the effect. Yeah, well, that's it. And also Achane. Achane's dinged up every single week. And I said that, when we got out of that bye week, I said, look, these teams aren't going to be so good, but there's a lot of body blows from physical teams. And this team is so, I feel bad for these guys. I mean, think about what they're going through to come out here and play. That's why I love my team, man. I do. I support them because the pain they're going through, you know what Tehran must feel like every single day to get through this season? All these guys, they are so beat up. And this is going to be a very physical game on a short week. And then you got to go to Dallas. Then you got Dallas coming in. Then you got to go to the Ravens. And then you got the Bills coming. Very, very, whatever happens, these players deserve our respect. They deserve our hand clapping because he's a lot of guys playing in intense and pain. Holland's got 2 swollen knees. So now you look at from the defensive side, their offensive line is going to be much better than it was when he saw us. Turner, he's not good, but he's a vet. Becton's going to be here. He wasn't here last time. They look a little bit more gelled. They've been playing together for a little bit, but they lack receiving depth. Conklin, they've been using, and Jeremy Ruckett, they've been working their tight ends, and that does concern me a little bit with Duke Riley and Long. There's areas for to be exposed, but if Howard's in and Holland's in, at least I'll feel those receivers are pulled off. We should have the advantage of our offensive line against a defensive line against their offensive line. But if you go back and watch Wilson, he was making some nice moves, buying time, and this could be a game that we have to play patient of their defense versus our offense. And their offense versus our defense. But I almost like their offensive line a little bit better than ours because this guy is coming and Hankin, if he's playing, it's very, very scary. So I think we should win. We should win. There's no reason we shouldn't. But, man, 24 to 30 mile an hour gusts and a brutal defense and a beat-up team, it all going to depend on who shows up. And how long they can last. And that was the bad part about us last week is if we could have blown out the Titans, Hill could have been injured and been off the field. But he came back, and that had to aggravate that ankle a little bit. So we're in a position now where we're in a position now that if we win, it resets the clock. And I don't know what will happen. If we lose, it will be as devastating as possible. But these guys, man, they're going to be at it full of pain. And this is the problem we keep bringing Tehran back and Hunt back quick to fill in the holes. And then, like somebody else said, it drags out the injury. And this is the problem with our lack of depth on the offensive line. This is our problem with because the offensive line, if you got a good offensive line, you can let certain guys rest and you can play a different style. But we got one style: run to the edge, throw the quick passes, and hope to get some deep plays on offense. And that's really it. We cannot be consistent enough. And so I'm going to be rooting for my Dolphins like I haven't in a long time. I hate the Jets. But this is going to be the media, I said, sets us up. They build us up, and then when we go down, they beat us. The media fallout, and even from fans and certain people in the fan media, it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be almost unbearable. O-line and tight end. Yeah, the chosen. I was thinking that too. I'm wondering. What should we focus on a draft? Well, offensive line. Offensive line. Problem is we got a terrible history with the offensive line. We're going to be stuck. And I hate to say that because Tehran's my man, but that body is hurting, man. And we're stuck. He's going to have to play for us next year. And in Lamb, he's going to be a little old. You can't bring. He's going to be like 33 or something. Jones, you're going to let walk. He doesn't fit the system. You're going to have Eichenberg, Jackson, maybe Cotton, Tehran. And then you're going to have to find guys. And we don't have a great history. Can we go out and get some free agents? I don't know if we're going to have the money. I don't know. But it's got to be offensive line. If this was like even a 20 or 18th ranked offensive line, it would look so different. But Cotton is not a guy that would start anywhere. Eichenberg wouldn't start anywhere. Jones probably wouldn't start anywhere. To me, Jackson's a fringe starter. Hunt, Connor, and Tehran, when they were together, it was a totally different story. But once you take one piece out of the puzzle, man, it changes. I'm loving Kohu ever since Ramsey came back. Yeah, he's. I heard somebody's getting down on him saying, why does Fangio have so much trust in him? And then they showed a play where it wasn't really his responsibility. It was that one play, was the big, deeper crosser. And the cornerback, the receiver, was in front of Kohu. And it was two guys running. It was Duke Riley and Kohu. And Kohu played man on the receiver going down a seam. And then Riley went with him. And then Kohu saw the crosser and turned around, and he got blamed, and he didn't. He's been playing well, man. I think I like him a ton. Is Holland back? That guy, he two bad knees. He's questionable. They say he is, and then they say a little concerned. They don't want to ruin his career, his season. So I don't know. Titans ran Tampa 2. Defense loaded up on one side because they realized Tua doesn't like throwing backside. Waddle was wide open on numerous plays. He can't get to the backside because of pressure. Not all the time. But you got to understand, our blitz rate, time to throw is 2.10. He was pressured 46% of the time. And I said earlier, we had 5.87 blockers per pass, and they only blitzed twice and then generated 46% pressure. And sometimes he's seeing ghosts. But who wouldn't with this system that we got over here? I've been trying to prove for a while that the speed of throw and Hill and Waddle creating leverage has uplifted this offensive line to mask how flawed it is. Now, sometimes there is back, but he usually can't get there. And sometimes he can. It's not to say that. But I think the pressure and a poor offensive line and the lack of depth and the inability to block with just five guys, we almost never block with five guys. And we do it is usually a problem. And it's maybe like one play and then we're back to multiple blockers and play action. So, that's maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I think all the evidence kind of points to that. Draft a center, a freakish huge TE. Yeah, Jay Hill is another version of Mike Gesicki. Yeah. He's, it's so hard. Tight end position is very hard to be a guy that big, to be fast, to catch, and to block. But we scraped up. We look, last year I said I banged the table. Zach Tom, he came into our building. We drafted Tyndall and we drafted EZ. Neither one of them do anything. This year, we got Cam Smith in a critical year, and I understand why we got him. And Achane, I understand you look what he's done, but he's been in and out. But we needed a tight end. We had to do something. We could have found a way. We need to, because a tight end is a quarterback security blanket. So Tua doesn't have a real run game. It's all edge stuff. He's got a poor offensive line, and he doesn't have a real tight end. It's all about us using Hill and Waddle to create leverage, to throw to spots and get some big plays, and then use their leverage to run to the edges. And if it's not that, then it's nothing. And that's not a full fleshed out offense. It's high flash, but very fickle. And then you got to add in the weather. Do you think that this offense is going to run like that in the snow, in the rain, in heavy wind? So, Tua is not perfect, but there is, huge warts on the crack core that are much bigger than his play from what I see. He did. And I don't know why. I wouldn't have agreed on that. But when we came out in that second to last drive, I didn't notice when we were playing because I didn't know the numbers, but they had 4-3. So they brought their 4-3 out, and we came out and ran on it 2 times in a row. All game long, they had nickel, and you could see if they commit to the run, what they could do. And I don't know why McDaniel didn't have an audible in there to make the pass happen, and why he just ran into the teeth of that 4-3. And so that's, that was a very big concern. That was a big red flag concern to me. I think he's getting a little overwhelmed because you got to remember, do you know how much fudging of things he has to do with this offensive line? It takes like an average job and turns into a complicated job. Everything's got to be finesse and complicated. And it just can't be like, hey, let's go up and bang the football and pick up stuff. We can't do that. And so it's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. We had Feeney in camp and we traded him. Why did we do that? Why did we let Eric Flowers go? My personal opinion is we let Feeney go because we wanted an excuse to keep Eichenberg on the team. Who in their right mind, and it's not McDaniel making that call, would go into a critical season like this with no backup center, with Eichenberg, who's never succeeded anywhere and never played center, and that's your backup. Now, to Greer's defense, who thought Connor would go down? But that's part of being a GM. And then when you started having offensive line problems, why didn't you have a center? You could have had Skur or this other guy on the practice squad, marinating him in the system, getting him used to snaps along the way just in case. But there was no backup plan. The plan overall for this offensive line was extremely poor. We should have had guys on the practice squad that we could have brought up, that would have marinated in the system, but we didn't. And we had poor starters in some areas. I think I just messed up the focus because I was moving my hands. Sorry about that, guys. But we had a very poor plan for this offensive line, and it's now biting us hard. It's been raining like crazy in Miami the past 3 days. The weekend forecast is going to be horrible. Yeah, it's very scary for us. What happened to the focus of this thing? Oh, second. Oh, there we go. If it rains, man, well, you know what? Honestly, if it rains, it's going to hurt their man coverage a little bit. But it's going to hurt us overall too. It could kind of swing things either way. I'm more concerned about just heavy wind, because if it's just heavy wind, that's conducive environments for a defense, and I don't want that. Buffalo has 6 losses. We cannot afford to lose. No, we lose this game, it's almost like a death sentence. It's almost a death sentence, Captain. Bruce Key, a few more rollouts and play action would certainly help. But our run game works. Use it, damn it. It does to a certain extent. So a lot of teams will come out. They play us in nickel. And when they play nickel, we'll come out with Hill and Waddle, which is really like a 3 or 4 wide receiver set. But then we'll have Ingold and Smythe. So we've got almost the best of both worlds because Hill and Waddle create such different leverage. And that gives us the edges. And our guys are so fast, they get to those edges and makes a place. But we cannot run inside with commitment. And we can't run inside when they run blitz or if they guess right or they bring in a run defense. And so we can run, but a lot of that is through scheme and the leverage created from our receivers, it's not like, hey, we line up and we knock you on your ass inside. And I think that's created, like, even McDaniels seeing ghosts, why he doesn't always call the inside run in the red zone. Because when we're in a red zone, they're not afraid of the depth. And so they play up, and it boxes a lot of us up, and it really makes it harder for us to run inside because we don't have the guys to drive people off. Now, I'm not excusing McDaniel, but I kind of understand it. But I do agree, some rollouts, play actions, and I think that's what McDaniel is going to have to do. If I have one complaint about him, a real serious one, he was kind of like Dorsey with Buffalo. He always feel like he needed to score. If you watch Gailey, he would set things up. And he was like, okay, I want to score a touchdown, but I'm setting things up that I'm going to get you later on. I'm thinking within the macro and the micro. And I think that's the thing that down the road McDaniel will get. He's just constantly trying to score. There's no small game. There's no like, okay, we're going to run it now. We're going to run it now. And all right, maybe it's going to be a 3 and out. And then the next drive, I'm going to trust my defense. I'm going to run it. And then that second down, I'll do that play action and I'll get you. There's no like long-term setups, and there's no small ball in there. And that's what Gailey was really good at. He was just a master caller. If it rains, let it. Keep Wilson inside the pocket. And can the Jets really run against anyone? No, probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We should win this. We should. You know, but if maybe we don't have Holland, maybe we don't have X, you know, I don't know. I'm a little concerned, man, because I think this defense, if it's raining, I like it better for us than non-raining because this defense is going to be very serious. I'm just worried hey, Captain, I'm just worried that this is a copycat league, and I think Mike Vrabel just gave the bulletin board materials on who knows. Yeah, but he took it from Belichick. And that's the thing with our very predictable and very narrow style. As the season goes on, like kind of like what happened last year, they build a book. And not only is it just the plays to go against our offense, but then you see what personnel matchups are effective and not. And so as you get longer into the season, if you don't have a full recipe on your offense, it does get hard, especially when you're compromised on the offensive line. And your star MVP receiver's got a softball-sized ankle. So, yeah, but no, it's time to say, it's this week to say you're sorry to Eichenberg. What's wrong with you, man? You don't know football. Oh, man, some really good hit the wheel routes. Yeah, John was talking about the wheel routes. I agree on that. Especially, you know, that's the thing too. Like there was some timing routes I saw like midway through the season. I don't really see it. There's a lot of stuff we could add to this. The captain line, the Jets are giving up 130 yards on the ground, and we're the second ranked rushing attack. But I spoke about that. If you watch their run yards, a lot of it is inside zone, because the D tackle Williams is really good, but they got a poor rotation of run defenders, and then the guy opposite Williams is not good. So if we're gonna get that make that weakness exposed, it's got to be inside an A and B gap, and that means that Cotton and this guy who hasn't played in years are going to have to do it. Now, I think that Jones could do something to maybe pop some things, but I don't know if we're going to get that edge stuff because, you know, there's a lot of teams that had good cornerbacks and good edge defenders and good linebackers. It kind of limited what we were able to do in the run game. But the run game is the key, Captain, without a doubt. Oh, yeah, Michael Dieter was another winner. We draft all these guys that are nice guys, but they're all finesse players. Oh, did I say that? I didn't say that. Did I say that, Yuki? I didn't say don't know football. Did I say that? I didn't say that, did I? Did I say Yuki doesn't know football? I don't think I said it. Well, you're saying it's somebody else. Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry, Yuki. Tell me if I said something wrong. I said that. What did I say? Yuki, tell me what I said there, brother. I thought you did. It's all good. No, man. I got to correct myself. Dude, we're family here. What did I say? I say stuff when I don't remember all the stuff. What did I say you don't know football about? You might. I'm calling our new center couch because he's off the couch. Nice. Hey, Garrett, help me out, man. I like Yuki. I don't want to offend him. Don't say that about Yuki. He's a good guy, man. I'll go check, Yuki. Oh, I think that was your sarcasm about apologizing for Eichenberg. Yeah, brother. Eichenberg sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he sucks. He really sucks. But the media blitz to tell you he was good is tremendous. And so if I sat down with you and you actually watched all the plays in all 22, then you would say, you know what, I'm wrong on this one. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. He's a terrible center. All his numbers are there. But there was a huge media blitz to tell you that Eichenberg was doing good. They would show you his PFF grades, but they weren't telling you he's being protected. They weren't telling you what the situation was. They weren't telling you what the matchups. So I'm sorry if I was insinuating you don't know football, but when it comes to Eichenberg, you are definitely wrong. And I say that with love. I say that with love. Anyway, guys, I got a big mouth. I'm in New York. I say stuff, but I like to correct myself. I got a big mouth. But yeah, Eichenberg totally sucks. And anybody who says anything other than that is just not seeing the clear film. And it's going to be further exposed. This whole thing's going to be further exposed. So the offensive line is going to play a big piece going forward. We were talking about Eichenberg. Apologize. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. A guy frustrates me. Anyway, guys, this is going to be it. It's going to come down to the offensive line. And then after that, it's going to come down to us not turning the football over. And then it's going to come down to the Jets turning the football over. But this is going to come down to can the offensive line and this offense operate in bad weather and what it looks like. And I am very, very, very because that's a good point. Ike is being harvested on compensatory picks. Yeah, maybe. I think some of these guys are actually getting playing time for compensatory picks, actually. My super chats aren't going through. Must be doing something wrong, but sure is drawing from my account. What? Get that fixed, bro. I appreciate the super chats, but I really don't like, I'm cheap. I'm German. So thank you, Chris, for any super chats, bro. I don't know why it's not going through. Somebody had a good one. Somebody said something. Yeah. Hey, Pride, how did you become a Dolphins fan from New York? My family is New York, the 5 boroughs, but then the other side is Florida, Tampa. And so in the 70s, I'm an old bastard. Dolphins were hot to trot, and the Tampa side had the undefeated team, and everybody in my family played football. And so the New Yorkers became proxy Dolphin fans from the Tampa side, and I didn't have a father. And so my cousins played, and my uncle was a big fan. And so I sat down. I had 2 cousins. One I hated, used to spit in my face and be nasty to me. And the other guy was like the cool guy who loved me. And we were watching Dallas versus the Dolphins, 1977. And my cool cousin had a hot girlfriend next to him. I was very, very young, but I was like, oh, wow, that looks cool. And the 2 of them were arguing which was better. The one I hated liked the Cowboys, and the one I liked loved the Dolphins. And they asked me, who do I like? And I hated the guy with the red hair, spit in my face, who liked the Cowboys. So I went with the Dolphins and kind of worked it from there. And then I did my first book report on it. I had the Bob Greasy fan club, got the picture signed with the glasses on it. That was the coolest thing. And I would read the clippings, cut the clippings out and pay attention to it that way. Let me see, where is that? Let's see. It's time for the outside blocking scheme that McDaniel is good at to pay off. Hey, Yuki, Look at that. Proof that I'm not upset. Oh, man, I feel bad. Thank you, Yuki. I really appreciate that. I should give you the $2. I should give you the $2. You're such a good guy. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. Very nice. I got a big mouth, man. I just say stuff, and I don't even pay attention to what I'm saying. Sometimes. So anyway, since 9 years old, live in Florida now. Oh, nice. Hey, Thomas, what's going on, brother? I don't live in Florida. I don't. See, I'm a Dolphins fan from New York, but you've been okay. I'm a Dolphins fan since 9 years old, but now you live in Florida. Where in Florida, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, how do I get here? Yeah, thank you, Yuki. You're a good man. I'm gonna put that out for a little bit. Let's see. Glad you hear the same. Thanks, Chris, again for everything, man. I'm sorry about that. R, man, what's going on? I'm feeling a long 4 weeks ahead of the Dolphins. I hope not, man. I hope not. I've been waiting for this Tampa area. That's where where in Tampa? Where did I lived in Madeira Beach for a little while. And then where in Tampa? Maybe it was I forgot where in Tampa my aunt and uncle and that side of the family lived. I haven't been there in a long time. Tampa's nice. I like Tampa. Hey, Pride, that's cool. My dad's a Packer fan, but Brett Favre and Marino were playing, and my dad said, boy, come here, and pointed out Marino and said he's one of the best quarterbacks you'll see. That's cool, man. That's a good story. He is. He's not one of them. He's the best. Don't forget that. Thomas, I'm on the South Shore, Palmetto, Florida. Oh, nice. I haven't been to Florida. I was at Florida. I was in Miami a couple of months ago. Oh, hey, Garrett, I'm in Clearwater. That's where it was. Oh, hey, Clearwater. Yeah, Clearwater. That's where I was. The Clearwater's in Tampa, right? That's where my uncle was from, Clearwater. Yeah, I remember going there as a kid all the time, every summer, and we'd go to Disney World, and they would talk about the Dolphins and stuff. Yeah, Madeira Beach, man. There's a bunch of dregs over at Madeira Beach. I had some friends over there. Some crazy stuff, man. Those people are wild. Oh, man. So, I don't know, guys. What do you think the score is going to be? I got to do this AFC shakedown tomorrow. They're going to make me pick the score. I don't know. I lost my mojo 2 weeks ago. I thought we were going to have a tough game against the Commanders, and we didn't. And I thought we were going to beat the Titans, and we lost that crazy game, but it was almost there. Yeah, Clearwater is 20 minutes. Yeah. Oh, Long Beach, New York. I know where that is. Yeah. I'm from a place called Bohemia, man. But my family's from like Brentwood. But then previously before that, they were from the Bronx and Queens. And then like in the 60s or 70s, they moved out from the boroughs to Long Island to almost like what was that? What was that show? Moving on up. Anyway, he was my uncle was a dry cleaning. He started his own dry cleaning chain, and he got rich, and then decided to move out to Long Island. Yeah, it's a must. So Yuki, man, 24-17. You know what? Because I insulted you, I'm going to say 24-17 Fins. I'll say that tomorrow too. 21-13. All right, we got a lot of believers. Yeah, he's not playing. We got the guy who's going to snap one day with two who hasn't played in years. Just think about that. Ooh, somebody had John's a nice guy with horses, man. He's got he guy's living La Vida Loca over there. He's got 30-6. I hope so. Cheated in practice. I don't know if he's playing, man. I don't know if he's playing. He said he thought his ankle broke, and they said it was swollen like crazy. 9-6, I could see that. I'm gonna go with Yuki's 24-17. But Guillermo del Toro, I love his directing. He says 17-9. I like 17-9. I think 17-9, either Jets or Dolphins. That's what I think. I will watch some film on Zach, but how much of last week's win was on garbage time? No, really, it wasn't. If you go watch his game last week, he had that, like, I don't care. Like, you know, when you lose something and then you find it back and you might lose it again. You just don't give a crap. He had some nice passes. He did really, really well. It could have been one game, an aberration. But no, he looked pretty good. Yeah, I think that Zonka too. He'll dress. He's gonna dress no matter what. Even play decoy. He kind of did this week. I agree on that. I agree on that big time. I think that's right. Check out Chris Sims. AR, what's going on? Check out Chris Sims' analysis of the Titans defense against Dolphins on YouTube. I think the Jets are going to do the very, very similar. I will still pick Dolphins 2013. Yeah, I think they're going to play too high cover zone, and then they're going to run some man. They're going to do mix. But yeah, that's all you got to do. You just got to prevent the deep ball. That's what you got to take away Hill, play deep. Belichick did it the best last year. They played a zone shell with a man cover on Hill and chased them around. And they had John Jones, or what guys, Jones, whatever his name. He runs like a 4.3 something. And that's like one of the best things that ways to do it. But yeah, I think they're gonna keep the too high coverage shell no matter what. They're gonna play man, but they'll probably have like a hybrid. I'll check that out though. I'll do that tomorrow. All right, guys. I appreciate everything, especially Yuki 2417. Thank you for the tip there, brother. I'm sorry to insinuate you don't know football. I do apologize, but brother, Eichenberg sucks. I'm not lying. Oh, they cut him. Which is totally, I want to get off. I was just about to get off, but that's a good comment. Listen, think about this. Guys, to me, it's about leadership. And if this season goes where it's got to go, leadership should be saluted. And if it doesn't, it's got to be like questioned. How do you have Olave in there all season, and then when you need him, you cut him? Why wasn't somebody, a vet or somebody on that practice squad, marinating in this system? We knew we had offensive line problems. The handling, we got Ingram on there. The handling of this offensive line is almost criminal if it doesn't play out. Anyway, guys, all right, thank you guys. I appreciate everything you guys do. I know I'm a loud monkey, but I appreciate you guys so much. Oh, I definitely question Greer, but I hope that I question him and he's smarter than me, but we're going to find out very soon. So anyway, guys, I appreciate everything. This is a big game. Enjoy. And maybe this week or next week, I'm going to start the Twitter thing up. I'm going to have to start doing the salesman thing a little bit more. I'm never going to just not be honest, and I'm never going to be like a total snake oil salesman. But I got to do it to keep the show going. I want to get another season. I love to do this. I love hanging out with you guys. So I'll let you know the news as I push forward on the social media Evilverse. But thank you guys for everything. Have a great night. Enjoy the game. Let's pray we win. Guys, you're the best. See you soon.